Hey you guys, what's going on? My name is Rye Reed, the writer. I'm still on my cowgirl tip because it's a vibe. It's so freaking funny. Before we get into the story, I went grocery shopping real quick. I just needed to get some ginger and some fruit just to snack on today. And I was wearing my hat. And this guy walks up to me and he goes, "What's going on, cowgirl?" It was so freaking funny. It made me laugh. So it's my vibe right now. I'm feeling it. Okay, so today's topic. I'm sure you've already seen it in the news. It's been trending everywhere. It's been a hot topic in the news, also on ESPN. And this is regarding Dolphins star Tyreek Hill. Recently, he had an altercation with a Miami Dade County police officer. He was arrested outside of Hard Rock Stadium, and he was getting ready for Sunday's kickoff. He was pulled over. He was driving his McLaren, which, by the way, I'm a car girly. I am a car girly. And I've been hoping since I've started this channel that I can start talking about cars and other things like that. Especially if it's in the news or it's surrounding like celebrities or entertainment. This is as close as I'm gonna get for right now, so I'm gonna take it. But yeah, he was driving a McLaren, very nice McLaren by the way too. And I also work in the car industry as well. That's probably why I like cars so much. So I've driven like I think the last car I was in like that blew me away. It was probably an Aventador. Probably an Aventador. Because I've been in a couple Huracans and really nice cars, but it was an Aventador, and that car blew me away. Same thing with an AMG Mercedes. Love those. And the new C8 Corvettes are really nice too. Super nice. But anyway, he was driving a McLaren, gets pulled over by a Miami-Dade police officer, and the news has been running with the story. There were a few pedestrians outside who were filming the incident. Of course, it's sensationalized. You have this super exotic car, McLaren. And if you've never seen McLaren up close and personal, go to a car show. You just need to see them. They're such fun cars. But yeah, you have this black McLaren. You have this officer pulling out this very large black man, dark skin, because we have to go in there with that. That's always going to be a trending thing that's going to be sensationalized in the news, is black people, especially wealthy black people, being arrested, sports cars. It's a thing. He gets pulled over, taken out his car, and he's handcuffed on the ground. You have people entering into the stadium. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of commotion. People are filming. And of course, that gets picked up online, on social media, in the news. They find out who Tyreek is, and it blows up from there. So this is turned into a very large news topic. And it's also big just because it's Tyreek Hill. So, that's one thing in itself. Since this news story broke, I was going to do an immediate reaction to it. And this was before the police cam was released. And this is the camera that was on one of the police officers. I was going to do it before, but I told myself, you know what? It's he say, she say. Well, two men in this situation. One police officer versus Tyreek Hill and the other officers. I wanted to get a full understanding of what happened and what does this picture look like. Because, you're always going to get one person saying this is how it happened, and, he was abrupt and he was overzealous and he was erratic, and you have another person saying the cop, he was erratic, he was out of his mind, he was escalating the situation. But now that we have the police cam out, now I'm ready to actually jump into the story. So this video's I'm not going to say the video's going to be short. It's going to be a little bit lengthy because I do go into details on the whole situation. I'm going to show you guys the video of Tyreek Hill firstly being arrested and being pulled over. And we're going to talk about that as well. Then the last half of this video, after I go into a news article just discussing what happened in the video and what led up to the altercation, I also have it's like a small little article of how an attorney's reaction or his take on what went right and what went wrong with this traffic stop. So it's a lot of moving pieces with this video, but I know you guys can take it. I know you guys can handle it because I would rather give you guys the whole story rather than just pieces and bits and my emotions. Because I don't really think that's necessary. I know a lot of other YouTubers have talked about this, but it's more emotional based. And that's not really me. I like to just go into the specifics. And I just like to know everything at face value and what the law, even if we have like a starting point, what the law's take is going to be on this whole altercation. All right. So I'm going to show you guys the video right now. I'm going to put it right here, then we're going to talk about it, then we're going to get into the article, then the last article with the attorney. So let's put this thing up. I'm going to turn it up a little bit with you guys, and I hope you guys can hear. Okay, here we go.
We're not playing this game. Get out. 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 Damn. Hey, don't knock on my window like that, man. Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Don't knock on my window. Why don't you have your seatbelt on? Don't knock on my window like that, no. Like what? Don't knock on my window like that. Why you have it up? Don't knock on my window like that. Why you have it up? I have to knock to let you know I'm here. That way you can lower it and talk to you. Just get my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm finna be late, gang. Do what you gotta do. Keep it down. Hey! Keep your window down. Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out. 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 Damn. What part of the law don't you understand? Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting out, bro. God damn, twin. When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand?
I'm getting out,
you understand? Not what you want, but what we tell you. You're a little confused.
I'm getting out, bro.
Too late.
Chill,
Too late.
All right, bro. Take me to jail, bro. Do what you gotta do, bro.
We are. We will.
Good, bro.
It is good.
Hey, Drew, hey.
Don't worry about it. I hung up the phone. You stop crying.
Bro, y'all.
Don't move.
Good. Bro, you beating on my window like you crazy.
You set him up?
Why y'all beating on my window like y'all crazy for? Damn, yo, bro, dude, beating on my window like he crazy. I ain't do nothing, twin. Damn.
Hey, don't park there. Don't park there.
Hey. Hold on, twin, hold on, bro. I just had surgery on my knee. I just had surgery on my knee, bro. I just had surgery on my knee, bro.
I just heard you in your ears when we come here.
Chill, bro. Hey, don't do, bro.
Back up.
Hey, call Drew.
Back up. Back up right now. Back up. Back up right now. Get back. Get back. I'm telling you, go back. I don't have to talk to you. Go back. Go back.
How far you want me to
Go back. Wait. Pass that card. Pass that card. You want to be in handcuffs too? All right, then back up. We're not playing this game here, man.
Well, I just want to know what happened.
It's not your business. It's not your business. Keep going back. Hey, get back in your car before you get a ticket. Get back in your car and leave. You gotta go before you get a ticket.
I'm not driving.
Who's the driver?
This is my car.
All right, move. You gotta move right now. Let me have your license. You get a ticket too.
I'm coming.
Let me have your license.
I'm
Get out.
leaving.
Let me
I'm
have your
leaving.
license.
I'm leaving.
I'm not playing. Let me have your
I'm
license.
leaving. Yo, what's
Your
going
license
on?
right now.
Sir, what's going on,
Your license
man?
right now. You're not gonna give me your license.
Hey,
You're not gonna give me your license.
I'm leaving.
Let me have
I'm
your license.
leaving,
Your
man.
license
I'm
right now.
leaving, sir. You want me to
Hey,
leave?
your
I'm leaving.
license right
I'm
now.
leaving. I'm leaving.
Or I'm gonna lock you up.
He just told
Your
me to
license
leave.
right now.
He just told me to
Your
leave.
license right now.
Sir, he just-
You're dealing with me now.
Sir.
Your license right now. We're not playing this game here, man.
Ooh, that was a lot. That was a lot. So the officer, his name is Danny Torres. He's 27, and he's a veteran of the department. So I want to talk about the video before we get into the article. First thing, just off of just watching what I saw, Tyreek Hill was not cooperating. And that's what I'm saying. It's hard to get into everything because I do understand, especially as a black individual, I'm African American. We do have a stigma with police officers and how they mistreat African Americans in this country, which is true. That's been proven. We've seen it time in and time out. But in this case, because I would say it's twofold. It's firstly, it was Tyreek Hill. The officer caught him speeding, pulls him over, and it wasn't a huge infraction. Speeding, it's still bad. It's something you don't want to do, but it wasn't the hugest infraction in the world. It was dangerous. You could have killed someone, true. But yeah, pulls him over, giving him a speeding ticket, knocks on the window. The window would appear on the McLaren. It was tinted, which is visually hard to see. Even with the camera on the officer, I could not see through the window. I could not see Tyreek Hill. So that's one matter. But knocking on the window, and I was listening to the video. Tyreek says he was like banging on the window and he was gonna break it or anything. That wasn't even the case. The police officer actually just did like a little, just like a little tap. Just, hey, roll down your window. And Tyreek Hill did not cooperate. But that's what escalated from that situation. Then Tyreek Hill rolled up the window once again. And from there, the police officer immediately went into arrest mode. I did hear one of the other officers said, not the one with the camera, but the other one did say, I'm going to break your window. That's aggressive tone right then and there. So it seems to me that just with the situation alone, it was going to lead into the matter of Tyreek Hill being arrested and being put on the floor. And that's just like the sad part about it. It's just like you have these two individuals immediately clashing, then it just leads into that. Then it led into other officers arresting some of the other I'm gonna say participants, but other people who knew Tyreek Hill. I believe they're also football stars as well. And that just blew up in its own. But yeah, let's get into the article. Dolphins star Tyreek Hill had an altercation with police. Here's what we know. So this is in Miami Gardens, Florida. So Miami Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill was pulled over from his sports car by Miami Dade County police officers outside Hard Rock Stadium during a traffic stop before the team's game on Sunday, triggering a national debate on whether the treatment was justified. We can stop right there. Like I said before, the news, and I will say this, the news does a fantastic job of bolstering this hate between African Americans and, or just anyone of darker complexion, and police officers. For once, and I will say this, and this is just me saying this, I do believe that the news does have an agenda towards that of just highlighting the worst instances between officers and African Americans. But in another stance, it does happen. And we can't forget that these instances do happen. And I think it's important that we do showcase this. One being is that We do want to highlight that police officers need to have more respect for, it's not just African Americans, but just for people in general. But for another stance is why instances lead up to what we get. And that's like something the news doesn't really talk about too much. It's, yes, the black guy gets arrested, the police officers are rough handling him, police officers are bad. But the other instances, we don't talk about that. Yes, this person was on drugs and this person was doing this, or this individual was speeding in an area where they should not have been speeding into. And that's what I'm saying. To me, it's twofold. It's two wrongs, don't make a right, but there are two people being wrong in this incident. And it does fall also on Tyreek Hill because he should not have been speeding in that area. I do understand he has a really nice car. I do love McLarens. I'm gonna keep saying that. I love me McLaren. I love his McLaren. I'll put it on the screen too, but I love his McLaren. Speeding, that's a big no-no, especially when there's pedestrians around, there's people walking, anything could happen. He was endangering people's lives. That is dangerous. So him being pulled over for that, sure. Also, with the police officer trying to get his information, it wasn't a big deal. It really should not have been a big deal. Just getting your license, getting your registration, you rolling down the window, it shouldn't have been a big thing. I know in this article, I already read it before, but I'm going to discuss that Hill did not want to roll down this window. One being because he is a famous celebrity, he's a famous athlete. He's on his way to the stadium. There are tons of fans. He didn't want all of the heightened attention. He could have explained that, though, because to me, that was also lost in translation. I'm sure that's something he was thinking mentally, just give me my ticket and let's move on. But he wasn't helping his case by rolling up the window. And because the window is tinted, the officer on his hand has no idea what's going on inside the car, even for the police officer's safety. So that was an issue in itself. But did the police officer need to escalate it? Did it need to go up to that situation? I would think not. But for the police officer, and that's what I'm saying, this goes into like so many different topics, I would say, that we have surrounding police officers in this country. And one thing is, with cops, their perception of life is so much more heightened. Because, for me, I don't know, they did say that he's a veteran. I don't know what's going on with this cop mentally. I don't know where he is, on his psyche, what his situation is mentally, whether he's been overworked, if he's stressed, if he had a hard case, if he's been dealing with individual civilians who have been pestering him, if he's been harassed, if he's been spat on, if he's been abused, if he's been attacked. All I do know is that the cop in the situation escalated, and that's what I'm saying. And the reason why I bring that up is because even if they do take this case, they pick it up, that's going to be something they're going to bring up when it comes to these court settings, is like, what was the mental state of the officer, what was going on. And from the police officer's standpoint, because that's going to be a talking point as well, is what would that look like for a police officer if you're arresting someone and you can't see them and they're not cooperating? It could be for him, maybe he's thinking this person's going to pull out a gun, maybe he's thinking this person's going to do something to me. We don't know, but all I know is it did escalate, and that triggered the cop, and that's what, we led into Tyreek Hill being arrested. Granted, the other officer saying that he wanted to break the window, he was doing too much. That was a lot. You don't need to break the window or to do any additive. And the way he took him out of the car too, maybe that might be a point as well. The way he grabbed him, I didn't like that, but I'm not a cop. All I know, it looked very rough. But then again, that was the police officer, and that's what he did. The national debate, it's still a talking point. It's African Americans being arrested by cops. How they're being arrested by cops. Is it just that they're being arrested by cops in the form that they're treated? And thankfully, I will say this, thankfully, the cop did have a camera on. I can only imagine if the cop didn't have his camera and this footage was released, how the story could have been painted differently. And also, Tyreek Hill is a very famous, well-known wide receiver, so the story is going to be picked up. But also begs the question is how many other African Americans have been arrested in this country and aren't famous and don't have the publicity that Hill has for their story to be spotlighted. So that's what I'm saying. It's so many different talking points that should always be discussed. And as a reminder to, I guess, police officers, and especially in this instance, the Miami Dade, the police department, to be mindful of that. And, you know, at the end of the day, we just need to be mindful of people and to protect people. So it goes, Hill is 30. He was pushed on the ground, face first, handcuffed, then was again forced to the ground, which looked very aggressive and unnecessary. The way he grabbed him, the other officer jumped in behind Hill and pretty much held him down. Like again, I'm not a cop. I would have to study law on the whole issue and get a complete attorneys to take on the video, like point by point. But it did look aggressive. It looked very unnecessary to have grabbed Hill and have to brought him to the ground like that. But if Hill was being complicated, he wasn't complying, if there was an ego, because I was listening to the video as well. Hill was very combative. He was talking, he was arguing with the cops as well. It wasn't helping his case. So all around, the whole situation was just a melting pot. And it goes, yeah, his complaint that sitting on the curb caused pain in his surgically repaired knee. Hill was eventually released after receiving citations for careless driving and failing to wear his seatbelt. The total fine is $309. His salary this season is almost $20 million. And as I'm saying, the money isn't the issue. I think it's just more about dynamics. It's more about, was it proper? Was it right? Could this situation been handled differently? Could we have gone into direction of de-escalating rather than escalating the situation? Could this have been done differently? I 100% agree that it should not have led to where it did. And it's just a reminder just for people and cops, we have to work together. You know, we can't be speeding, first of all. We have to be careful about our surroundings, despite what car we are or what accolades we've acquired in life. If an officer is just asking us just something basic, and it also goes into your safety. And I was watching the video too. The officer did not begin with an attitude. It only led to the point the minute that Hill raised up that window, and that's immediately when it went into go mode. But yeah, we have to work with cops as well. That's what I'm saying. It's tricky. There's so many different plays depending on what cop you're interacting with, what kind of day they're having, what kind of day you're having, the scenario surrounding it. And as I'm saying, based off of what I've read here, not just here, but just in the entire article, Hill was rushing to get to the stadium. I don't know if he's late or not, but he was rushing to get to the stadium. He was speeding, so that tells me he was trying to get somewhere very quickly. He was swerving and probably going around other drivers, and he was doing it unsafely. It doesn't state in this article, but another article, it said that he was going 60 miles per hour, so he was going way over the speed limit in this very exotic sports car going to the stadium. I don't know if you've ever been to a football stadium or just, a sporting event, but a lot of people are there who are attending, especially with opening season, probably not from the country or probably with their family, with their kids. There are probably people walking in between the traffic or trying to get across the street because, just how people move, or they're jaywalking. So there's a whole lot of different things going on that route to the stadium. So Hill rushing pedestrians is dangerous. You have a cop, probably a sign there, probably, I don't know, maybe stressed out. There's a lot of people, very vigilant, and it just one thing led to another. But yeah, he makes $20 million a year. Money's not going to be an issue. You can pay this off. Hours later, he caught a 80-yard touchdown pass. I did see that. Sparked the Dolphins' comeback win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. The police department director, Stephanie Daniels, put Officer Danny Torres on administrative leave. So that basically means that the officer is still working for the police department. He has not been fired. He's still being paid. He's just not going to be working on the ground, working in the streets. He'll just be working inside, which I think is for best. It probably would be for Danny Torres. It'd probably be like a lot of stress for him to even be out back into the public setting. And one being because his first and last name has already been put out there. I'm pretty sure you're having a lot of people who are checking him out, checking out his family, going on his Facebook page. I don't know if people will want to harm him, but yeah, it's just probably too dangerous for him to be out and about anyway. Then also with his behavior, because like I said, I think it's twofold. I think it was Hill, firstly, not cooperating and rolling down his window. I do understand that he's a celebrity. He didn't want his face out, but it was not helping his case. But the police officer did take it up an extra notch. But yeah, that also tells me maybe the police officer needs maybe time off, maybe time to think, maybe, like I said, it's how was that police officer's caseload this year? What did it look like for the past month? Did he have any instances? Has he been angry? Has he been erratic? What has his behavior been in the last 5 years? Has he been aggressor? Are there other cases pending against him from other people who were wrongly arrested or have been mishandled by him? That's what I'm saying. There's so many other moving factors with this. But yeah, he's been put on administrative leave. The department released the identity of Torres, 27-year veteran of the department, on Tuesday, which sucks. It really does. It sucks because, yeah, with the internet, people are just going to come after you. And they're so quick with it, too, to find your home, your house, and your Facebook, your Instagram, your mom, your aunt. And I could just imagine him having to stay so low, or maybe him even have to go into hiding, depending on what people are upset with him, with his behavior. Especially with Tyreek being such a big celebrity. Who knows how many Miami Dolphin fans are going to go after this man. So how did the altercation start? Well, we know. The officer body cam video, which I already showed you, released on Monday, late Monday, of the Miami Dade Police Department shows that about 3 hours before the kickoff Sunday, 2 motorcycle officers were parked on an access road south of the stadium when Hill sped past his McLaren sports car. They immediately went in pursuit. They later said he was going 60 miles per hour, so he was going way too fast heading into the stadium. Hill slowed and put down his window. An officer pulled alongside and told him to pull over. He did, but he put his window back up. Was not helping the case. Very tinted window. Officer probably on edge. Doesn't know what's going to happen. The officer got off his motorcycle, walked to the car, and tapped on Hill's window. And it wasn't an aggressive tap. It was just a tap. And to me, right here, these 2 lines right here, the situation could have just ended right then and there. It could have just been a quick ticket. Don't do that again. Be mindful of your settings. A good talk to you. Here's your ticket. And Tyreek Hill could have just went about his day. But getting out, immediately rolls up the window, doesn't listen to the cop. Tyreek getting aggressive. Don't tap on my window. Boom, sets things off. The cop got off the motorcycle, walked to the car, and tapped on Hill's window. Hill lowered his window and told the officer, "Don't knock on my window like that," while handing the officer his driver's license. So yeah, he handed his license, went about it like that. The officer asked Hill why didn't he have his seatbelt on. Hill again told the officer not to knock on his window. "Why you have it up? I have to knock to let you know I'm here," the officer replied. "Give me my ticket, bro, so I can go." I've had, and not every case with an officer is the same. I do understand that there are officers that do power trip, that do put people's life in danger. We've seen it millions of times. And every person's instances with cops are completely different, but in some stances where you can kind of just get on by with a cop and you just make it quick and you don't want to just agitate this person already who is in a power position, it's like you would try your best to. I'll give you guys a quick story though. Me and my brother, we were pulled over probably about like a year ago. It was during the pandemic. My brother I wouldn't say he fully rolled through a stop sign, but he did. He didn't stop as long as he could have. Officer who was parked, and it was late at night. Officer who was parked saw us, pulled us over, and it was like a split decision between whether or not my brother was going to get the ticket or not. The officer shined his light on my brother because it's late at night, and where we live in the boondocks out here in the IE, so it's basically the country. The officer shined his light on me, and immediately I went into how can I get out of this mode. The officer asks and says, "What are we doing out here?" And proceeds to tell us like what we did wrong. I jump in because I'm looking at my brother. I'm going, "Nigga, don't you say a word. This is my moment. Let me talk." And I immediately go into, "I apologize, officer. I was rushing my brother to get home because we were probably 2 minutes from our house. And we live in a very nice area too. The homes where we live in are, I would say they're like, we're upper middle class where we live." I tell the officer I was rushing to get my brother to get me home. I have a paper due, which I did. I have a paper due and I need to turn it in by midnight. And I was rushing him, and I also told him I'm an author as well, which I am. I have a book that I also need to look over and send to a lady who's my editor. And I have these things to do, and I was pressuring him just to get me home. The officer did a quick pause and was like, "Oh, you're in school? What school do you go to?" And I immediately was like, "Hey, I go to Cal Baptist. This is my school. This is my GPA. At the time, I had like a 3.5 or something, so it was pretty decent." Told him that, told him a little story, and I told him, "Hey, I'm an author. This is and I showed him, I gave him my phone. I was like, "Here, this is my Instagram for my book page, and this is where I write." And we talked about it. He was like, "My wife loves reading and this and that." I was like, "Hey, I will send her a book or tell her to email me and we can go from there." And we talked about it, and he looked at me and he was like, "You know what? It's okay. Just don't do that again. When you see a stop sign, take your time. I won't give you a ticket tonight, but if I ever see you do it again, he will." But that's what I'm saying. It's depending on the cop. It really does. It depends on the cop. You can get by on certain instances, and it could have went either or way for us in our situation. We could have got a ticket, but me thinking on my feet and trying to meet the officer halfway and trying to have communication and trying to have that, which is what led us out of getting a ticket. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill would have gotten out of a ticket as well, but just, imagine if the conversation did go a different way. Imagine if he did roll down the window all the way. Imagine if he did try to talk to the cop and explain the situation, like, "Hey, I apologize," or the tone was different, or "I'm rushing to get to this game." Even if he threw in his name, "My name is Tyreek Hill. I'm wide receiver here. I have a game coming up. I'm just rushing to get through. I don't mind. I do take responsibility. I apologize." Maybe that would have went differently instead of just going, "Give me my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm gonna be late. Do what you gotta do." And it's just, that's what I'm saying. I think communication is such a key when it comes to how we interact with individuals, not just cops, but just individuals, to where it doesn't have to go to a 10, where maybe some instances it can lower back down to a 2. Granted, the officer is also in charge of containing situations and containing his environment and containing his scenarios and his instances with the public. So I also take on the cop as well. He could have just kept his cool and it didn't have to reach that point. But if you have two figures who are also in their ego modes, one is a wide receiver, multi-millionaire, very young, very rich, and you have this cop who's also 27 and he's young as well. He's a veteran. He's also on his power trip, and you have these two forces that collide. it's going to lead into things like this. Let me see. How did the traffic stop escalate? After demanding his ticket, Hill again put up his window. Keep it down, Batista snapped. And that was the other cop, rapping on the window with his knuckles. Hill can be seen through the tinted window, buckling his seatbelt. Hill cracked the window and said, "Don't tell me what to do." Yo. Before he again put the window down. Put the window up. Oh no. Keep the window down or I am going to get you out of the car. Then look right here. This is when it goes whoop. As a matter of fact, get out of the car, the officer said. And see how how everything just went. You could slowly just see the bomb just ticking and getting worse and worse. Him going, "Don't tell me what to do." Immediately, the cop was like, "You know what? Keep the window rolled down, or I'm going to get you in the car." And matter of fact, you see that brain switched? I could just see the turn of, especially with the video, I could just see the turning of his brain. As a matter of fact, "Get out the car," the officer said. And that was when it was over. Torres, who was standing to the side, then orders Hill to get out, or I'm going to break that window. Why? That wasn't even necessary, but just a whole bunch of egos, a whole bunch of attitude. At this point, the officers are just going, "Forget it. We're going to arrest. We're pulling you over." Torres then pulled the door open, grabbed Hill by the arm and the back of the neck, and forced him face first into the ground as the player said, "I'm getting out." Torres, the first officer, and the third then pinned Hill, pulled his arms behind him and handcuffed him. One officer put his knee on Hill's back. It had been exactly 1 minute since the officer first tapped on Hill's window. And it moved quickly. To me, I was counting. It was only a few minutes before we got from A to B. But A to B just went from A to Z, and it went quick. Hill yelled into his cell phone, "I'm being arrested, Drew." He had placed a call to Team Security Director Drew Brooks while still in the car. Torres told Hill that he was going to obey their orders, again cursing at him. "Why are we cursing?" Hill told them, "Take me to jail." Hill told them, "Take me to jail. Do what you gotta do." Then Torres said, "You know what? We will." And that's just what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at these two adults, young adults going, "You know what? Arrest me. Do what you gotta do. Don't tap on my window. Roll it up." The other guy, "You know what? We're gonna break that window if you don't open it. I'm gonna arrest you and take you to jail." Then I will. It's just these two forces, and they're just colliding. They're not helping. No one at this point was trying to make amends or trying to get the situation to a level point. No one was trying to settle anything. It was just, nope, here we are. Why didn't Hill keep his window down? And does Florida law require drivers to do so during a traffic stop? Hill told CNN Caitlin Collins on Monday, and this is where, like, the story just keeps progressing, because it's like, this happened. Hill does eventually get let go. He goes to the game. He does a phenomenal job. He catches an 80-yard pass. He gets the touchdown. It's amazing. The news is circulating. His story comes out. Then he's on his press release. He's being interviewed. He's sitting there drinking a drink and talking about all this. Saying this officer needs to get arrested. You know, it's just like, the progression is, it's something. This to me, it feels like a Boondock special, like it already happened. And it goes, Caitlin Collins on Monday night that he didn't keep his window rolled down because he didn't want to create a scene as fans arrived. This is Hill. Hill goes, "If I let my window down, people walking by, driving by, they're going to notice that it's me because, you know, he's a celebrity. And they're going to start taking pictures. And I didn't want to create a scene." You got to tell, you know, the cop is probably like, I'm just trying to give you this ticket, and I can't even give this ticket. Like, I got your driver's license, but you're doing a lot. But Florida traffic code says it is a misdemeanor to disobey a police officer's lawful order or direction. It also requires drivers and passengers to get out of the car during a traffic stop if ordered. Hill said he was getting out as fast as he could, but inquires that he is playing through slowed him down. 7 seconds elapsed between the first officer ordering Hill out of the car and Torres pulling open the door. And that's what I'm saying. To me, at that point, it was already personal. It was, you're giving us attitude, you're rolling up your window, you're talking to us disrespectfully. You know what? We're just going to take you, pull you down, and put you on the ground. And this is how we feel about you. You're arrested. And that's what I'm saying. That's where the power play was going off on the police officer. And that's where they were slipping up. Hill had any previous interactions with police. Oh, they're funky for this. 2009, he had a domestic assault battery by strangulation. Damn. 2019, damn. Prosecutors in suburban Kansas City declined charge. Dang, was that his girlfriend? Punching his girlfriend in college. Damn. Okay, so this man got an attitude. What happened after Hill was handcuffed? The officers pulled Hill to his feet, took him to the sidewalk, where they ordered him to sit on the curb. He told officers he had knee surgery, and he couldn't. Torres jumped behind him. This is that cop that at first initiated everything. Put his arm around Hill's upper chest and neck and forced him to sit. Hill's teammate, I figured it was the teammates, Janu Smith and Campbell stopped their vehicles after seeing Hill in handcuffs and tried to speak to the officers, but they were told to leave. The officers briefly put Campbell, which I saw that part, that wasn't necessary either, in handcuffs after accusing him of not obeying their order to move back. Police supervisors arrived and discussed the situation with the officers. The department deleted most of the audio from those conversations. So there's so much that we've missed that were not included with this whole debacle that the officers deleted. And I don't know about you guys, but how I'm feeling about that, too bad we can't put this in the law. I'm not sure what the laws around that is I wish that the police officers or the supervisors weren't allowed to delete or to get rid of any evidence, including audio. I wish everything would just immediately be passed through and it would be let out. But I wonder why that was. But imagine we could have gotten more from this case. About 25 minutes after Hill was pulled over, he received his citations and was released. And I think that at that point, the supervisors were like, "Oh damn, we're about to get it. we are about to get this. This is already bad." What has the Miami-Dade Police Department and the officers' union said? Police Director Daniels put Torres on administrative duty and ordered the internal affairs investigations after reviewing the videos. Stedman Stahl, president of the South Florida Police Benevolent Association, defended the officers' actions, saying that Hill was briefly detained for officer safety after driving in a manner in which he was putting himself and others in great risk of danger. Upon being stopped, Mr. Hill was not immediately cooperative, which I said, with the officers on the scene who, pursuant to policy and for the immediate safety, placed Hill in handcuffs. Hill, still uncooperative, refused to sit on the ground and was therefore redirected to the ground. So what we know is unknown as long as the internal affairs investigation will take. Yeah. Yep. So it goes, Hill's attorneys have threatened to sue the department and the officers. And I'm interested to know what the follow-up will look like with this. Because it goes, is it worth, or they don't know if Hill's attorneys want to follow through with their client's deposition and discovery process. But yeah, I'm curious to know if all the moving pieces would be added to the situation. Hill not rolling down his window, or he did give him his license, but if that was a moving factor, his tone, aggression, the police's behavior, arresting the other athletes, if that was lawful as well. But yeah, here, let's get into a attorney's take. So it goes into, so who's right, wrong in the Tyreek Hill traffic stop? And this is from a former prosecutor, and he weighs in. The police body cam video showing Dolphin star Tyreek Hill being pulled over and yanked out of his car is getting traction across the country. People are weighing in on who's right and who's not. David Weinstein is a former prosecutor, both state and federal, and is now a defense attorney. He took a look, commenting on why the officers insisted Hill put his window down. And he goes, the reason the officer knocked on the window is because they're tinted, and that's what I said. That's what I said. You can't see anything. I couldn't see anything just from the video. And it goes, anytime an officer approaches a vehicle, he has concerns for his safety. And that's where we have to get out of our emotions. And, you know, he was arrested and he was black and we're sensationalizing the story. Especially when we're looking at a cop's perspective, which will also be validated once it goes into court as well. They're going to look at what was the scenario that led up to his arrest. How did the cops interpret the situation? Were the windows tinted? What did he fear for his danger, for his safety? That's also something that also gets thrown into court. He said the situation got out of hand very quickly, which it did, because it was quick. It took less than 3 minutes from when the officer knocked on Hill's window, and he was yanked out the car by 3 other officers. It was extremely quick. It was police officer walking up, getting the ticket, trying to talk to Hill. Hill rolls down the window, says what he says, gives the officer his driver's license, and immediately rolls it up. And just from there, it just went left. He said the situation got out of hand very quickly, and it took less than 3 minutes for officers. Yeah, now it got to a point where it shouldn't have gotten to. There was no reason to use that much force, which I agree. There was a lot of officers there too on standby to have that much show of authority to get someone out of the car, he said. Weinstein said Hill should have kept his window down as ordered. If he had just left the window down, handed them the license, took the license back from them, waited for them to give him the ticket, it would have ended up like this again. Doesn't excuse the conduct, that's what I'm saying, it's twofold, of the officers, he said. And there's the run and 2 teammates had with a police officer after they pulled up to see what was happening. Campbell was briefly cuffed after the police said he didn't follow their orders, other than to just show who's in charge. And that's where I say, like, it was a power play on the police officer's hand as well. Arresting Hill, that was an escalation. Arresting Campbell and threatening the other NFL star to give him his driver's license, and that it was a whole bunch of like unreasonable force. To put the second player in handcuffs or to have let it get, completely and totally out of hand, Weinstein said. Campbell was not arrested. Meanwhile, the officer who was detained, Hill, is on administrative duty as an internal investigation gets underway. Yeah. But yeah, that's the complete whole story. I shared my thoughts. I gave the story, to its entirety. But yeah, it's fair to say that I do believe that it was 2 that did not make the situation any better. And it went further and further from there. But yeah, tell me your thoughts down below. What do you think about the traffic stop? Would you have gone about it this way or not? Do you agree that Tyreek Hill was in the right, or maybe he was in the wrong? Do you agree that the police officer was in the right or was also in the wrong? But yeah, I'd be very interested to know your thoughts, because I know on social media, we do just get into a spell of just going immediately the African American, the black man. He's rich, he's wealthy, he's young, he's in shape, he's good looking. He's being terrorized by this police officer who's probably jealous of him, and that's what I'm saying. It's this white Spanish man, Latin, and he was looking for a way to subjugate Hill, who is in a better predicament than him. And that's what I'm saying. That's a lot of narrative that I saw going on social media. But until we get to you know, the true story and we see this, maybe our perception will change. But I would say in this instance, you know, the story is a little bit different. But that's what I'm saying. Before we just jump in online, just go, this person was wrong, we need to just look at the whole story. But yeah, tell me your thoughts down below. I'd be very curious to know what you're thinking and how you feel about the whole case. But yeah, I'd be very curious to know if Hill's attorneys are going to press for anything, or if they're just going to just let it slip on by. But what I do know for sure is that the police officer, he is on administrative leave, so he will no longer be actively working on the force. So maybe that's a good thing, just for a pause right then and there. But yeah, be curious to know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a little bit long, but you stuck on by, and I appreciate you because, you know, you're a good cow person.